Hello, NINC friends. We are happy to introduce you to Seth Norris, who's going to be joining us as a first-time NINC speaker in 2025. Thank you so much for joining us today, Seth. The NINC conference team is excited that you're going to be speaking at the beach this September, and we are ready to share that excitement with everyone else. Can you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself, about your business, your experience in publishing, and how you're going to bring some of it to our attendees?
Absolutely. So again, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be at the beach too. Seth Norris, I'm a CPA and I've been a CPA, I think going on 15 years now. I spent a lot of time in public accounting, spent a few years as the CFO of a bank. And while I was the CFO of a bank, I started my practice as a part-time thing. And because it was a part-time thing, we ended up attracting a lot of at-home businesses, part-time businesses, side gigs, tended to be a lot of creatives. During that same time period, my wife Jessica was working on her first book. And towards the end of my time at the bank, I decided I was going to take my business full time. And so we did that. And within those last few years, we realized just how much the author community needed the help of CPAs, and it just wasn't there. So, from my experience with Jessica and seeing her book business start off from, I think I'm going to write a book, all the way through now having a complete trilogy. She has a fourth book with an editor. She has her fifth book underway. She's done Facebook ads. She's done inventory. We had a situation where she had inventory delivered that we had to totally replace all the covers on and ship them back to the printer just because they were done incorrectly. Anyway, I've seen all the ups and downs of the author business. And so then we've been applying that to other clients and other authors. So for the last few years, we've been focusing solely on the author community and author adjacent businesses, helping specifically with cash flow management, saving on taxes, and just figuring out their numbers. The number one goal being to get the authors more time back to write, because the best way to make more money as an author is to write more books. So we can take things off of their plate, help them make better decisions, and make that happen.
Which sounds like the dream there. So your presentation at NINC is
Mhm.
Profit and Peace: How to Run an Author Business That Works for You. You gave us a little taste now. Can you give us a little bit more of a teaser?
Absolutely. So the NINC talk is going to be kind of like a all-in kitchen sink. This is how to run your author business. I've done several talks so far at different conferences and webinars for authors, and this is going to be a deeper dive than I've done before, specifically for NINC. And so what we're going to do is walk beginning to end how to figure out what it is you should be focusing on next in your author business, because there's all these things. Do we need to worry about conversion rates or getting more customers? Do we need to worry about pricing? Should we worry about debt? Should we worry about paying off debt? How do we scale the business? Should we be setting up systems? Should we be hiring somebody? And if we just react to the problem in front of us, we might focus on the wrong thing first. So I kind of think of it as you have a clogged pipe, bad analogy, but you got a clogged pipe, several different clogs. It doesn't make sense to unclog the part that's not next to the water first, right? Because if you unclog the first thing, it might actually help all the other things run more smoothly. So the talk is going to be divided into the areas of the business that should be focused on first. And then within each of those, we're going to cover the different metrics that authors should be tracking. So for example, we'll talk about sales and how to increase sales and the metrics to track for that. Are you attracting enough customers to your site? Or are you converting? Is your average order value high enough? All those things optimized before we can move on to things like profit. How do we handle seasonal cash flow? We have all these sales, Christmas time, holiday season, and summers always drive up. So how are we going to take the money we take from holiday sales and make sure that it lasts all year? How are we going to save on taxes? Because taxes is one of the biggest single expenses for most small business owners. So how do we reduce that tax burden? And how do we prepare for the taxes we might end up owing at the end of the year anyway? So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about setting up systems. Again, it's kind of like an all-in how to run your author business.
Well, I know that there are people listening to this who are already thinking I am writing this one down and I am going to be there for sure, because this is something that we all want to do. We want to do better at it, and I think having heard you speak, I know that you make it fun. So that's
I hope so. I hope so, because it
you
could be
know
a super dry topic. I mean, it's
it
not
can
about
be, but
taxes and stuff.
yeah, but that's why Mel and I both enjoyed hearing your talk before because we felt like it was not dry. So,
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
and I know our NINC attendees are going to enjoy it too. So this is, as I said, your first time at NINC. From what you've heard about the conference, what are you looking forward to most?
I think the thing I'm looking forward to most is the fact that it seems like NINC attendees are established authors in their businesses. They're serious about their business, and everyone needs help. And I'm not saying that people who are just starting out don't need the help. But whenever you're speaking to such a wide range from people who have never published before all the way to people who have a vast series, it's hard to find that common denominator that's going to resonate with everyone. And so I'm excited to be able to speak specifically to these established authors who have income coming in and who just need help how to organize that.
Yeah, and they're going to be happy for that help.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can't wait to hear you in about 3 months. Until then, as people are getting excited about the conference, where can they find you? Where can they get in touch with you if they want to learn a little bit more, even before they come to St. Pete Beach?
Yeah, so if people go to authorcpa.com, it's going to redirect them to my website, and it's a landing page for a course that had set up for like how to apply Profit First, this cash flow management system for authors. If they're not interested in that, there's a contact form at the bottom there, or they could also follow us on Instagram. It should be instagram.com/Norris CPA.
Okay, sounds good. That's great. Okay.
Sorry, I was just distracted because I was like, wait, authorcpa.com. That's a great URL. Good
Right.
job.
Thanks. Jessica, my wife, had me snatch it up as soon as we thought about it. She collects URLs like candy.
Jessica and I have that in common. I recently forced myself to declutter some of those that I've been paying for year after year. Like, I guess maybe that idea I had 5 years ago for this, I'm probably not going to do, and I can stop just sitting on this one URL.
I mean, it might be a write-off, you know?
Yeah. So if only I could ask my CPA that question.
That's right.
Like Tadra said, we've seen you present before, and I've never seen a room of authors that engaged about finance. Like, we didn't have enough there wasn't enough time for questions the last time we saw you present, which is part of why your session at NINC is going to be 2 hours long, so that you can teach everything that you want, and then also have plenty of time for questions or talking deeper about various topics, because I know that authors love to find out like what they can write off on their taxes, and
Yeah.
how they can be more profitable. And
Mhm.
that's one of the things. For several years at NINC, we've been really making an effort to try to bring in education for authors, because sometimes they're spending so much money on Facebook ads or so much money on this or that they have a really high revenue number, but still really not a really high profit number,
Mhm.
and kind of helping them figure out, what tweaks to make. So
Oh, that's huge. 'Cause I've seen so many authors who, they might be bringing in four or five, $600,000 of top line revenue, but spending all of it on ads and inventory and making less money than the author who's bringing in 150,000 because they
mhm.
maybe have a leaner machine there. And so I've seen a lot of situations where author businesses were scaled using debt, and it's made it difficult for them to now scale past that point while they're still paying off old debt. So we're going to definitely cover that during the talk as well. And like you said, the length of the talk I'm super excited about, because you usually have to kind of rush through things and go super shallow with, but I'll be able to really dig in and get into the meat of things.
I think it's going to be great. And I am a numbers person. And so I get really excited when we're going to bring in any kind of topic that is about numbers. But like Tadra said, you do take a dry topic and make it interesting, but you also make it really accessible,
Thank you.
using a lot of really good examples. So
Thank you.
I just want to encourage this video is for our attendees, but also for anybody who might still be on the fence about attending NINC. At this point, if you want to attend this year, it's September 17th through the 20th, 2025. We're in St. Pete Beach, Florida, and you must be a NINC member to attend as an author. So if you are already a NINC member, we encourage you to get in now and buy your ticket before registration closes very, very, very soon. And if you're not a NINC member yet, go to ninc.com, that's NINC.com. See what Novelist Inc. is all about. We have an annual conference every year, and it's amazing. Like, we bring in these incredible speakers, but if you've watched other videos in this series, you know that we also bring in sponsors and vendors and service professionals, and Seth kind of covers ground in both those areas. But we really try to connect you with other authors, service professionals, and the education that you need to make your author business thrive, which is our theme this year. So that's ninc.com. And Seth, we cannot wait to see you and Jessica at the beach. We're so excited. So thank you for lending us your expertise and also for your time today.
Oh, thank you. Is the theme for NINC Really Thrive?
Yes.
That's our word of the year this year that we figured out last like December. We do that every year as a family, so it was meant
It's
to be.
perfect. It's perfect. All right. Well, we will wrap up this video, and thank you again. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.